Welcome everyone to CMPAC Spotlight, and I'm gonna jump right into it because we have a fun guest in the studio tonight, Mr. Victor Marshall. Welcome to CMPAC Spotlight, your show, God's Glory, radio show, television.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, I'm just honored to be on your show, ma'am. I was so excited, y'all. I'm on Dawn's show. I had to find the biggest gold chain I could wear to come up in here on Dawn's show. I mean, everybody wants to get on Dawn's show, and I'm just humbled to be one of her guests today.
You are too funny, but you are blinging, and we want to talk about your show.
Yes, ma'am.
Because your show is what's on and popping. You have exciting guests and different things.
Yes, ma'am.
So talk about your show. How did you get your show started?
Well, my show originally started in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
God gave me a show called God's Glory Radio Show. And when I became here to Charlotte, North Carolina, it extended to God's Glory Radio Show Television, where I work with ministries from all over the world. I have people catch airplanes here from pretty much anywhere. I've had people come here from Las Vegas. I've had people come here from New York. I've had people drive here from Florida. I've had people catch Amtrak, Greyhound. They are excited about what's going on, and right now I'm just humbled to just be on this very show with Dawn.
You are so funny. You are so funny, and just the way that you are blinged out right now is exciting. It brings excitement to this show, and obviously that's what you're about with your show, with all the guests you say you bring.
Yes, ma'am.
Into
Well, actually,
town.
God brings them. I'm just a vessel.
Okay, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
So you started in Atlanta,
Yes, ma'am.
and how did you just start thinking about God's Glory radio show? I know you said God gave it to you, but what was going on that really lended itself to you starting that show?
Well, the truth of the matter is I wasn't always in church in my life.
Okay.
Believe it or not, I used to hang out at BET.
Okay.
You know, I used to work with Donnie Simpson and
Okay.
different people like that when I was living in Washington, D.C. And I had an opportunity to do a lot of things. And when I began to see God and God began to call me, I began to become absent from entertainment industry and become more interested in what God is doing and what He called me to do here at Access Spotlight, right here, Access to What He Want. God bless you.
Okay, well, unpack that a little bit. You were talking about you were in entertainment with Black Entertainment Television.
Well, I wasn't working there, but I knew people there.
Okay.
I worked with Donnie Simpson when I was working in Infinity Broadcasting. I used to work in Infinity Broadcasting
And
when
what
I was
brought Infinity?
Infinity Broadcasting,
Okay.
Which is a radio station
Okay.
that's in Atlanta. It actually connected to BET and all of those other places. And along my path, I just worked with a lot of people, and as time went on, I've been to VMAs, the MTV Awards, and all those kind of things, and then there came a time that I felt that God called me to do something different. So those things just wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. I've met a lot of people, but I'm really happy that God brought me here to Access 21 to work with you and everybody else here.
Well, I'm glad you're here too. We are. I mean, you know, it's exciting, and everyone who sees your show and who's looking at this show, you know, I'm sure is just really interested in who Victor Marshall is and, you know, what's going on. So that's why you're here.
Yes, ma'am.
And I love hearing what you're saying about, you know, having worked with Donnie Simpson. A lot of people may not know Donnie Simpson. He was on BET doing a lot of the interviews with
He
entertainers.
started all this stuff.
Yeah, it was
started a lot
big
of
part.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you talked about in the process of working with them, you felt like God was calling you to do something different.
Yes.
So what was going on with you that made you feel like I need to do a shift? I need to pivot from
Well,
this.
believe it or not, I was in Queens, New York one day, and I was in a church service, and the spirit was really high, and there were people laid out all over the church. And when the man prayed for me, Pastor Robert L. Stevenson prayed for me, laid hands on me, and I was one of the many people that experienced God that day. And it was a life-changing experience, and I began to see things differently. I became more interested in God and became more interested in what he was doing and what he wanted me to do. And then pretty much when I came to Access 21, I'm not here to just do a show. I'm here to fulfill an assignment pertaining to my purpose and my destiny. So God has called me to the nations. I work with people everywhere. I mean, locally, nationally, internationally. I work with people in Charlotte. When I call y'all in Charlotte to come to this studio, y'all come. Stop not coming. I don't know what it is about people in Charlotte. I love them, but they tend to not come. It's interesting how people from out of town will catch a plane here. And people will catch Amtrak here and fly from the other side of the world. You have people right here in Charlotte that just like, well, you know, I don't think I want to go. I think I'll just go next time. Well, there ain't no next time.
So you want to interview people who have something to say about what God is doing in their lives here in Charlotte, all over?
Pretty
and you
much.
Just find that people here in Charlotte are a little bit
Pretty much.
hesitant?
I let people do what God called them to do. I don't want to change anybody. If you're a singer, then come sing. If you're a dancer, then come dance. If you're a preacher, then preach. I'm not telling you to be a preacher. I just want you to do what God wants you to do. You might just be a poet. You might just, be an author. You might want to just come on and just kind of talk a little bit about your book. I can't sell your book, but we can definitely talk about it. It might be a situation that, you have a gift, whatever that gift is. You don't have to be a pastor and have a church to be able to do what God called you to do. When we go into the grocery store and we in the line, we're actually able to witness and minister to people standing in line. You don't have to have a piece of paper from a church saying that you're a minister. You just simply have to just love on somebody and basically show them the love of God.
All right, well, let's talk about your guests and talk about everything that you just said about, what the guests may bring to the table, whatever they do.
Yes.
If they're standing in line at the supermarket and they feel like they should speak to someone about God and about whatever it is that God lays on their heart, what are some of the things that you feel are really important for the guests to talk about?
Well, everybody has a different message. I just want them to be themselves. I don't want to change nobody, because when people come to Access 21 or anywhere, because you don't have to be on television to even have a ministry. You just have to just be a willing vessel. You just have to do what God calls you to do. And for instance, you may not be a preacher, but you may be a baker. Maybe God is calling you to just have a bakery and just bake and make cookies and basically do things in a bakery. And while you're in the bakery, when people come in to buy your cookies, they come to buy your muffins, they come to buy your danishes, you just kind of love on them, and that is their ministry. So.
Okay, and of course you elaborated on that in terms of people coming here and just being who they are.
Yes.
So what are some of the issues then that you think are affecting people during this time? Because here we are, we're in a pandemic.
Yes.
At the time of this recording and at the time this will air, we'll still be dealing with some of these issues. We're almost 2 years into this. We about a year and a half into dealing with lockdown, masks, social distancing. So we know that's an issue that's on the minds of a lot of people. What are some things that you feel like people need to hear about right now in addition to?
I think the news is great. I love y'all out there at all the news stations, and y'all doing a wonderful job. But I really believe it's important that we pray and seek God, because God is going to be the one that protect us. As y'all know, I'm sure some of y'all have heard, there have been shots that people getting. Some of us are afraid to get a shot. Some of us want to get a shot. Regardless of whether people got a shot or people had 2 shots, I've heard that people have had COVID more than one time. So the good news is God is a healer. And I have known people to catch COVID more than one time, but I've also known God to heal them as well. Along with people getting sick, there have been situations that people have had COVID-19, but they have been healed. They don't really talk about that on the news, and that's fine. But what I am here to tell you is we got to just stay prayerful. The masks are great. the social distancing is great. But at the end of the day, we got to know who God is. We got to know who Christ is. There have been so many people that have passed away and that were not able to see this year. And we're fortunate enough to be, the group of people that are allowed to be able to wake up and see another day. We cannot take that for granted. When we get up, some of us might not even know who God is. And that's okay. But God's going to allow you to get closer to him in his timing. So I'm not here to push him off on you. I'm not here to force him on you, because God is a gentleman. He's not here to make us do anything. We all have choices. But along with those choices, I just want you to know there is a God, and Jesus Christ is real. And he went to the cross for us, and he, shed his blood and everything for us. And I know COVID is strong, but it's not stronger than the blood of Jesus. And I'm telling y'all, they can report all day how COVID is spreading and all of these things about COVID. But at the end of the day, whose report are you going to believe? Are you going to trust in man for a shot or to walk the streets with or without a mask? Or are you going to believe that God is going to cover you and protect you? You got to trust God.
Well, Victor, I tell you, you do on your show what you just did here.
Yes,
and then
ma'am.
your guests come and partake in everything that you guys do as a team. And so, speaking of teams, you put your show on and it's just comes off as something awesome and something that's reaching several people.
Yes, ma'am.
So why don't you tell us what it takes to put that show together?
Well, I can't do nothing on my own strength. Mm-hmm. I give all credit to God. Without him, I would not be. I would not be here today. I would not be breathing. I would not be able to see or hear or even be able to have the strength to come and hear and talk to Dawn. So I'm going to give him all the credit. But along with dealing with him comes ideas. And when he gives us ideas, Habakkuk 2 and 2, write the vision, make it plain, we got to write it down. We have to put it up on tablets. And as we write down our visions, we bring manifestation to them when we bring them to television. Not just television, but when we go and execute them in the street, whether it be a business, whether it be a company. It might even be your skills in the court. Some of y'all got a crossover. Y'all got to work on that. Well, it's the same thing with what it is you're doing with television or anything else you do. You got to, bring forth and put some kind of effort in it, because faith without work is definitely dead. So you definitely got to put an effort to it. I can't look for God to just fall down here and just things just happen. I mean, he will come down here and do some things in his timing, but we still got to be able to effectively move and allow God to come in and do what it is that he does for us.
Okay, well, that's awesome, because, your ideas definitely have to be kind of germinate whenever you're alone, you're praying, whenever you are just thinking about, okay, who am I going to call to come on to the show, right? So after you have written that vision down and you prayed about some of the different ideas, what are some of the steps that you take? Tell me about that, because I know you and your wife are working together, and then it takes a crew to put this on. We got our awesome crew here today running camera in the control room. So what about you? How do you go about putting your show together?
Life is a process. And things, no matter what it is we're doing, it does not happen overnight. Some of the things that we get, I might not get it this week. It might be 3 months or next year or 2 years. Sometimes I get things in pieces. For example, I'm in the midst right now of doing some things with a homeless shelter. I literally got that last night. That's something that's been on my mind, but I didn't have any clarity, understanding of that. So over a period of time, we get things, but sometimes we got to hear it over again and over again and over again. And it might be in our mind, but it's interesting because somebody anointed like Dawn might come up to me and say it, and I was already thinking about it, and I wrote it down, and then it becomes a confirmation of what it is I was already trying to do.
All right, so, but you come in here to the studio Is it once a month or?
I come in the studio and I tape 2 hours every time I come in here. I do 4 broadcasts each time I come. Sometimes 5, sometimes 5.
Yeah, you get a lot in the can.
I try to get as many as I can because I want to make sure we have new shows.
Right.
And my schedule, I kind of try to set my schedule. My schedule is actually full to January 2022.
Wow. So you have a lot
I
of
have
guests.
no more guests for 2021. If anybody wants to be a guest, I got to put you on a waiting list to come on here in January and February. I have somebody asking me for February already.
Wow, that's awesome.
They asked me if I could start booking a year in advance. I'm not comfortable doing that. I like to book people every 3 months. I'm sure you can understand why.
Absolutely.
Because there are certain things around here that are beyond my control, and I want to make sure if I book someone that they come. But it's good news. I don't just tape here at Access 21. I also go out on location.
I was going to ask you about that, Victor, because, of course, pre-pandemic, I'm sure there was a lot of traveling, a lot of things. Maybe you still do it, and you just are very careful and respectful about how to do it.
I've taped in Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay.
I taped there.
When did you go to Tallahassee?
Oh my God! I went to Tallahassee about I think a year and a half ago.
Okay.
I went to Denver. I taped there.
Okay. Denver,
Colorado.
Okay.
And then last week I was in Orangeburg, South Carolina, and I did some taping there with one of my guests.
Okay.
But what I call that is Glory Network Satellite because I'm not in here. I'm taping out there.
Gotcha. On location. Yes.
I got a schedule coming here, but when I'm out there, I don't have a schedule. I can just kind of do what I want.
Right, right. Well, first of all, let's talk about the fact that a year and a half ago, that would have been pre-pandemic. And then, of course, last week, this is August 17th right now, and a week ago, we're in the pandemic, 2021. And so when you go on location like that during the pandemic, how do you set things up?
I actually have a different set.
Okay.
I got some chairs I ordered. I custom ordered some chairs. They look like stools. Some of y'all that watch the broadcast probably know that because if y'all watch it, I'm probably airing some of this stuff. If not, y'all will see it later. So y'all got a sneak peek at that.
Well, we're also going to be, showing little bits and pieces of what we roll during this show. So
different things.
Go ahead and reference it.
So I have that, and I have some cameras out there, and I have speakers out there because I've come to realize when I'm away from Charlotte and I'm taping, and people see my van and they see me out there taping, first person said, "Is this a music video? What you doing?" I said, "No, I'm just taping television." When people more like, "Can I watch?" So now I'm in a place right now that I got a generator now.
Okay.
Where I can plug in electricity into the generator, and when I record with the generator, I actually can get some speakers and get some electricity without having to plug in, so people can come closer and hear better now.
Just show up, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Well, that's good because they can space out,
People actually stand around and sit, and they just watch. Some people come close, some people stand from afar just to watch.
Right, but they're watching. That's the important
They're interested in. They want to see a television taping.
Right.
Not on television. They want to be there.
Right, right.
Which is for some of y'all that's coming. We're gonna talk about that later, but not right now because of the pandemic.
Okay, well, the whole thing about, how you do your show is really what I wanted to get at because of the fact that there's different things that go into it. If you're on location, you mentioned your van. You have to pack that van with the necessary things, equipment, your logo, your speakers, whatever is going to be on the show that you're promoting at that time, right? And then in here, you may have a crew. And so the process of doing your show in the studio is what? How's that different from out there?
I actually have a couple of setups in here.
Okay.
So some people that watch probably notice that, and some of y'all that's watching that probably watch my broadcast probably like, he ain't got no suit on today. No, I don't wear a suit.
You got a
I'm
bunch
on
of bling
Dawn's
on.
show, y'all. I'm on Dawn's show. So I just want to dress differently because there are people that are going to see me. They ain't never seen me before.
They have never seen you before. They see a different side of you.
They got to see a different side of me. I'm
Okay.
on Dawn's show right now. So if you want to see me in a suit, you got to watch me on my show.
So CMPAC Spotlight is like coming through with this chain spotlight,
Yeah, I'm
right? Is that what that is?
That's what's going on. I was like, I'm telling you, I got a lot of jewelry. I gotta find the biggest chain I can. I'm going on Dawn's show today. I gotta just grab me one of my big chains. Okay, I'm gonna wear this.
You're too funny, but you're not gonna get out of the fact that you said people will come up to you saying, are you doing a music video? So you don't just dress like this here. Obviously, there's something going on out there that you're not telling us. What's happening?
It depends on what I'm doing.
Okay, tell us what you're doing when people ask you why.
It kind of depends on
video?
what's going on and what's happening, because it's summertime right now while we taping, and I love y'all, but I don't want to wear a hot suit when I'm outside, so I gotta wear something else. Sometimes I just want to dress down, wear some shorts, or wear a button-up shirt, or wear something else. Right now, I'm just basically just chilling. I basically been doing things all day, and Dawn called me and said, "Don't forget, you gotta come here." And I'm like, you know what? I'm not putting no suit on. I'm just coming up in here. Well, let me go get some jewelry. Let me grab my chain.
Well, there's some different things, right, that you want to convey in some of the different shows that you do, whether you're in the studio or out of the studio. And of course, you know, the weather makes a difference.
And I will change my setup too. A lot of y'all probably notice that. Sometimes I got a stool, sometimes I got a table. But I do social distance. I support that.
Right.
I sit away from my guests. Some of y'all see that gold chair, I sit in that, and they sit at the table. So I try to stay away. I love them, but I just want to be practicing social distancing. I don't want to promote people being close. Look how far Dawn is away from me.
Well, in television, we always say that it's better to have the people closer together because of the illusion of television. But yes, in the pandemic, we're being respectful and not being rebellious with not, social distancing during this pandemic. But, we can still have fun, right?
We can have fun, but we just got to be responsible when we're having fun.
Absolutely. And I love that about you. And I love hearing that when you're out on location, you're able to appeal to a wide variety of people. You may have a target audience. Do you have a target audience?
My audience is whoever God allows me to reach.
Okay.
It doesn't matter their race. It doesn't matter their age. If you just happen to be flipping the channel and you stop, guess what? You my audience.
Right.
So I really don't target anyone. I love everyone, regardless of their age, or regardless of they're single, they're married, doesn't matter. I love everyone. So I'm not targeting anybody. But I specifically want to target those that don't know God, because I just love you. I just want to get to know you just a little bit better, yes.
Why do you think people should know God?
I think they should know God because we need God. We need God, for one, we need to have a relationship with him. And number two, we need him because at the end of the day, we got to know him to be able to get into heaven, to have everlasting life. And sometimes we get away from that. And I think it's really important, even if y'all don't really believe God and believe in God, and y'all don't really believe in Christ, trust me, there is a God out there. Trust me, Christ is real. I have nothing to gain by telling you this. This air, I breathe it, but I don't see it. It's here. Go.
He said go. You are so funny.
I don't want to cut you off. This is your show.
No, this is our show. And I'm just, enjoying how you orchestrate things and how you do things that, are appealing to people. And wearing that chain. When you talked about not having a target audience and you know that people are flipping through, if they see that chain blinging, they probably will definitely stop. Okay, so you have to wear it again, not just on this show. And then
I bought it for television. That's why I got it.
Say again, you bought it for television?
Yeah, I bought it for television.
Well, let's talk about this music videos. I really want to understand.
Well, actually, I know how to edit music videos. God dealt with me about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But I know how to edit videos and movies and all that kind of stuff. I do more than just television and radio. I was like, what? It's like he showed me how to do it. So I've been talking to people in other states. And we've been having conversations about those music videos. So those that want to do that, we can have a conversation. If you got music and you want to do a video, so we can have a talk about that off the air.
Right.
Y'all call Access 21 and we can have a conversation.
Well, obviously, when you're working in music, and we know about copyright, we know about a lot of different things that go into that.
A lot of people don't know about copyright, but I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. Well, you do, and you know you're going to be respectful of that. But I love hearing about these different avenues that you are exploring. And before you came to television, you talked about, doing the radio show, right? So it started radio.
Yes.
And then you bring it to the television platform.
Yes.
What about podcasting? You thinking about that?
Podcasting, I'm going to say I'm very involved with podcasting. I work with a lot of people that have podcasts and a lot of people that have radio and TV shows outside of the building. I help them develop. I help them to grow. I help them to reach their potential, because a lot of y'all don't know that, but outside of the building, that's actually my assignment, to help people do that. So I don't just do radio and television. I help other people learn it as well. When I'm not on the air, when I'm off the air, I help other people learn how to do what I'm doing. People really like what I'm doing, but they have their own version of doing it. And I just want them to be successful with what it is they're doing, especially if they're Christian and they're trying to reach God. I love all of y'all, but the ones that are Christians, I spend a lot of time with them because they're trying to get a message out that I believe is really important. And I want to make sure that they're able to do that.
So it sounds like you want to help people in their purpose and what they're called to do and what they're assigned to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right. And
I
then,
like to see people fulfill their dreams. Whatever it is, sky's the limit. Y'all can do it.
I like that. I love hearing that. So talking about sky's the limit, because we've got a little bit more time left, but what do you see yourself doing outside of the podcasting, the television show, thinking about film?
Actually, you know what? Somewhere along the line, I will be doing a movie. I just haven't shared that. Y'all hearing it for the first time.
I pulled it out of you.
Yes, I will be doing something with movies.
Okay.
Later. And it will be in North Carolina. And it will be down the road.
Okay.
I strongly believe that there's a lot of people that have a lot of dreams. And I don't think that Tyler Perry needs to be the only person that can help people to do film and have shows. There needs to be more of us doing that.
Right.
And later on down the road, there's going to come a time that I will not only do what I'm doing, but I will eventually help other people get into acting.
Well, listen, I want to thank you for that, and that's to be continued, right?
Yeah, it's to be continued.
So,
we're going to talk about that when that starts, because I'm going to find you like, Dawn, when we had that conversation, I'm sure either there you'll find me.
I'll find you, exactly, because there'll be so much more to talk about. Well, listen, Victor, thank you so much for being here. And again, it's going to be continued with what you're doing. And we'll look for you on Access 21, all right? And you guys look for God's Glory Radio Show television.
Sunday at 8 o'clock.
Sundays at 8 o'clock, right here on
Eastern
Access
time.
21. And we will see you the next time on CMPAC Spotlight.